Hi everybody, my name's Flossy Roxx and this is Siren the Step Van, my tiny home on wheels. I really wanted to say a huge thank you for the outpouring of care, concern, all your kind comments last week. I'm 3 weeks into recovering from surgery. It is going slower than I had expected. And I'm trying to be gentle and do lots of resting. So in that vein, in this week's video, we are gonna pause on the off-grid cabin search and the tiny houses and go back in time to the middle of summer where I learned to scuba dive. I faced one of my biggest fears, public speaking. It's nothing like speaking on YouTube. To bring you a beginner's guide to underwater filmmaking, which I hope to do so much more of at my off-grid cabin next year, hopefully when I can finally find one that I can afford to buy. I am here at the Ocean Innovation Center getting ready for my talk tonight. I am excited and nervous, and I think we're going to be at capacity. Like, that's wild. So I'm talking about a beginner's introduction to underwater filmmaking because I wanted to make it feel more accessible to people to get started, to start people into storytelling and getting underwater to tell the stories that they want to make. I think that's amazing and really important because a lot of people, the hardest thing to do is get started. The hardest thing for me to do is going to be to speak slowly, to keep my nerves contained, and to pace myself with my presentation. At least I've done a practice run. I did a practice run for my Patreons online and it was awesome. I got some great feedback and we're gonna get this done. It's gonna be amazing. We've got the projector screen up and we're gonna rig up the laptop to it very soon. But it's a nice space to be in and I can't wait to show you. It's exciting. Anyway, I gotta open my editing software and get through a couple more clips that I want to put in. We got this. Right, I'm gonna be up there presenting very soon. Doing my best not to be nervous and getting excited to present my film and my presentation to almost 100 people, maybe 70 people. That's a lot. So, welcome to a beginner's guide to underwater filmmaking. You can do it if you wanted to. This is designed to make underwater photography accessible. To me, it's really about the storytelling of it, and the filmmaking techniques and equipment support the filmmaking and the storytelling. So the storytelling is the perspective that I come from as a storyteller. So I'm bringing that into my underwater love of marine life. And all throughout this presentation, I've got a few little clips of things that will slowly add together and tell a little story as well. My whole passion about sharing underwater stuff is to inspire and educate about marine life because I totally believe that what you cannot see, you cannot care about. And the more you see something and understand it, you build relationship, and relationship prompts us to take care and protect. The documentary that you just watched, The Fellowship of the Sea, when I first moved to Canada, I joined Salt Spring Seals. Snorkeling and ocean activities are accessible to anyone. You can go get a wetsuit from the thrift store, and you don't have to be any of certain age to be able to get into the water. And the stories that are the most successful, I think, are ones that resonate, ones that people can see themselves in. Because I had my subject, the seals, the older group of folks, mostly women, who dive and swim in the ocean all year round, they were the characters. And what do they care about? They care about the ocean and the creatures, and they've come to do so over the 20-year period that they've been in the ocean. They were really looking for a way of re-regulating their nervous systems. And I think this applies to something for all of us, is the world is chaotic around us. How can we maintain a sense of grounding in order to keep going and to keep taking action and to survive and find places of joy that feed us? And so often when we talk about storytelling, there's this hero's journey, or what's the conflict, or what's the tension. And so instead of focusing entirely on conflict, because I don't think everything should be conflict-based, I was like, what's the tension? What two things are pulling against each other? And so you can have a look at this video, a little video that's playing now, and it's of the fish spawning. So the tension in that scenario is people are hunting the fish. You can see that the female fish has actually got a lure in her fin. And then the male salmon are vying to spawn. And at this point, there's actually 3, if not 4 of them who all spawn at the same time in this one spot in the river. When you're looking at creating a story, we're talking about what is the objective, what is the obstacle, and what is the journey that we're going through. These are things that I want to share to prompt you with your own stories. Or is it us going through our own journey? Are we facing something that challenges us? And here's some little examples. Could be an internal struggle. Here we've got 2 crabs. And so I had in my mind that these crabs were having a territory turf war. And then sometimes nature creates tension in the way it reacts with other forces or elements. Are we dealing with the human impact, or a predator, or navigating the rules of an ecosystem, or societal rules? So there's lots of different types of tension that we can look for in a story that create engagement, but it brings our audience along with us because they're like, what happens? And you create a sense of involvement, investment. In that sense, we get, what is the subject? What is the change that happens? And what does the life look like after the change? So for example, these 3 videos are all from Jervis Inlet up in Desolation Sound, and it is one of the most gorgeous places I have been, and I can't wait to go back again someday. But all over this dock, where's this lion's mane jellyfish, dangerous, harmful, and so there's a sense of fear created, an unknownness about it. And I was on this sailboat, and then I jumped off and went for a swim. And then when I was underwater, then I got to be in direct face-to-face contact with these beautiful big jellyfish. And they are incredibly long, like 2 to 3 meters worth of trailing strands. And I got one across my face, and it tingled a little bit, and I was fine. But what I was left with afterwards was this wondrous sense of awe and privilege and joy of having witnessed something so big and beautiful. Because sometimes these creatures are like 2 to 3 feet across. So they're huge. We've talked about why we're making films and what we're making them about. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some tips about how one can make a bit of a better film. So from the theoretical storytelling piece, and then some actual practical tips and tricks when you're actually underwater. This is from a place just outside of Victoria, and these are sea pens, and they're absolutely stunningly gorgeous. and it was such a joy to be able to dive. And then what Sarah is photographing right here, this is Sarah Ellis, who I'm filming right now, is the specific type of nudibranch that feeds on sea pens. Then when we're doing storytelling, we may not want to tell with words where we are. So we want to create that sense of emotive feeling in our audience of where we are. So here you can see I'm diving about 35 feet deep into a big kelp forest. So it creates an immersive experience of being like, somebody else may not be able to get down deep here. It creates a feeling of what it could be like to sit there at the bottom and look up. A sense of awe is what happens for me. That is the presentation. I would love to hear from you questions. What would you like to know more about? Thanks for listening. So there you have it. No one will protect what they don't care about. And no one will care about what they have never experienced. And that includes all your friends and families who can't see or don't want to be in the ocean. So I leave you with this. How can you make both yourself and those around you want to care and protect for the ocean? I think you're all gonna laugh. I have had one introductory scuba lesson, and as in usual Flossy style, once I decide I'm going to do a new thing, a new hobby, I throw myself in 100% and get completely obsessed with it. So I'm on an island now, and through some of my snorkeling contacts found a used BCD and a really good quality regulator, complete with extra hoses and fancy gauge and a BCD that fits me. And I got it all for $100 and I'm thrilled. Like, I feel like this is an octopus. I know they call a yellow one the octopus, but it feels like a whole octopus. Anyway, I feel super excited. Having the right gear and having my own gear and not having to rent it is important to me. It will save me a lot of money in the long run, and I feel grateful to have contacts so that I can get really good quality stuff at a price I can afford. Anyway, so me here in the forest, we're gonna wander back down this little dirt driveway. I love living on the islands. Going into the city yesterday was fun, but I tell you what, coming back out of it and coming back to where I feel comfortable and feel like I belong and back to my van is so great. It was fun, and I can't wait to be underwater breathing in the actual ocean instead of a pool. Okay, I'll see you then.
Dive buddies, proper dive buddies. Look at these silly free divers, and now they are officially dry suit scuba divers.
To the dark side. dad better not be around. Dude, you're so freaking cute. I'm not fine this way myself. Look at his little nose! You're like, come up, come up, come up.
Ew, lean cod? That's gross. It doesn't even have a 17% fat content. Make sure you participate in the salmon head recovery. Yeah.
Good morning. Day 2 of scuba training. Ready to go. Hey everyone. I hope you can hear me. I am on a ferry heading over to the island again. I have just completed my scuba diving. I'm so excited to be getting my scuba diving certification and learning to breathe underwater. Quite the experience. Anyway, on a ferry now and going to do another dive today. Cannot wait. Getting all of the diving in so that I'm going to be super practiced. BCD regulator, dry suit, towel, camera gear, underwater stuff. everywhere. My van is filled with diving stuff. This is no longer a dry suit. It is a damp suit. Fins, dive watch, dive bag. And recently I got myself my own BCD and regulator. So stoked. It's gonna be me, except not in tropical water. Thank you so much for your patience and coming along with me as I figure out video making while I'm in recovery, off-grid cabin hunting in the future and what that's gonna look like for me. I am moving a lot slower now, and I'm very lucky that I have a few videos filmed from summer that I can show you now. If you think this video is worth the hype, please give it a big thumbs up. It really means a lot for creators like myself to get out to new audiences and to bring cooler and better things to you and share my experiences as we continue. I am super grateful for all of you, and I read all your comments, especially your kind and encouraging words when I have been depressed, in pain, and struggling over these last couple of weeks. It's made an unbelievable difference. Thank you. A huge thank you to my Patreons. The full version of my underwater presentation will be there for you over on Patreon as opposed to this edited one on YouTube. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week for another summer adventure video that will rewind the clock to go back to. Okay, see you later. See you next week. Bye.